are now tapped in with the Hood Mystic.
You are now tapped in with Hood in the Morning.
You are now.
That's all I can
Grand Rising. So today we'll be talking about clones and some more stuff. So thank you guys for tuning in to the Chakra Nova podcast. This is episode 11. It's the Hood Mystic, and I'm here with my usual suspects. Got my boy Jeff Elijah, my guy Sacred Serpent, my man Prime Harmonic, and of course I'll let those brothers introduce themselves and also give us some interesting fact about their week as they introduce themselves. I'm real big on icebreakers, and we got to get to know each other out here in this community. So I just do these episodes every Thursday to give these brothers a platform to speak and to say whatever the hell they want to say. Okay, so I have a select list of questions, and we go through these select list of questions and we bounce ideas back and forth, and we just wait for Serpent to give us a viral moment. So with that being said, I'll let these gentlemen introduce themselves. Go ahead. Since we know the order now, we'll have Jeff introduce himself, Prime introduce himself, and then we'll follow by Serpent. So Jeff, how is everything going for you today, and so forth and so on? What's the vibes like, my guy?
Yeah, man, just I'm thankful to be here. Thankful for the platform again. Everyone, just Jeff. How I describe myself is just a young man who is just happy and thankful to be able to hold a space with the other guys here. You're looking to find me. You can find me on social media. Jeff.Elijah144, just like it's spelled here. Jeff.Elijah144 is a personal account as well as a business account, Elijah Green 144. Right now, I have these hats available for pre-order. So if you're interested in supporting the guy, supporting the business, supporting all of us, reach out to me, DM me in regards to purchasing a hat. I have prices on my website. Hit me up, DM me. Prices may change. Just saying. Take care.
Peace. I'm Prime Harmonic. Also go by Will. I'm an engineer, scientist, and I like all things dealing with physics and metaphysics. I'm also heavy into my spiritual studies, and I like to make sure that they're relatable or being able to break them down to any audience. So if you can't explain it to me, then how are you going to teach somebody else, So spirituality without the hoopla is what I'm about. I'm on Instagram at prime.harmonic. Peace.
Peace to the family. Sacred Serpent, Chakra Nova, Alchemic Academic. Once again, thank you for allowing us this space. And
thank you, Hood.
I appreciate the Calm. Calm.
Serpent is going to switch his setup, and then when he'll come back crispy and clear and fresh, and then reintroduce himself. And I titled this episode specifically spiritual manhood, because we are going to get into some lessons in reference to spiritual manhood, and either developing your spiritual manhood aesthetic or even breaking into this understanding the benefits of spiritual manhood, and just so forth and so on, man. It's going to be a wonderful and brilliant conversation. There he goes, all crispy and clean. Watch when he start talking. Y'all be like, look at this boy sounding all clear and shit. Go ahead, Serpent. Introduce yourself, fam.
Sacred Serpent, thank you for that wonderful introduction, Mr. Hood Mystic. Sacred Serpent, Chakra Nova, Alchemic Academic, Shadow Work is right around the corner. I am very excited. Chakra Nova is in stores right now. Thank you very much for the participation. And if you haven't got you one, you need to get you one. I wanted to say thank you again for the space, and I'm really looking forward to this talk because I like to see where the triggers lie. So let's have some fun.
So, yes. I don't even know. I'm out here.
I was writing in my journal last night, man. Some throat chakra stuff.
Yes. It's very important to write things down, because when we exist in our minds, we imagine that we're making progress. However, we are not remembering shit, and we're not growing at all. So it's very important to write the actual formations that you wish to accomplish in the waking world through writing. You have this gift, and most people don't even utilize it. So that's why with the Chakra Nova book, there's an option to buy the journal. But do you think most people buy the journal now that there's an option? Absolutely not. And the value of the book, as you just reading it, is not going to be as intuitive as it is designed, because it's very important for you to write these things down and process these things in real time. Not to say that you can't journal in your other notebooks and shit like that. I get that part, but you know, it is what it is. So without
at the end of the day, the price of the product is not indicative of what you are going to get from it.
Absolutely not.
Thank you.
Absolutely not. But I feel like continuing these conversations and, you know, dare I say, holding people's hands as they develop these psychic abilities is part of our duty, you know, as far as Serpent and Prime, to just kind of say, like, we put out this information and we're not running away from you, right? We stand on everything that we said and experienced, and personally want to be here just in case you feel as though something's not right.
I prefer the hip pocket too. I'm gonna sit right on your hip pocket.
Man, and I have no alcohol today, so I can't even be on the level with you guys today. So I'm kind of disappointed.
You gave it away in all the offerings, so you got it.
Yes, I just gave it away. The ancestors got it. So, yeah, sometimes with the information, it doesn't get, the notifications with YouTube is weird. So be sure to share the video to your social media, your Instagram, your Facebook, and post it on YouTube. But, you know, spread the word that Chakra Nova episode 11 is in stores, as we're getting into it. But no, I want to start off this first question because when I was on the podcast last week with Dreamwise, with my wife, we had I posed the question as I was speaking, because I noticed that people are very highly opinionated in their relationships. They know what they want, they know what they don't want, they know what they deserve, they know what they don't deserve. And so I posed the question, have you guys, well, not have you, but who taught you about being in relationships or being a partner or being a mother? And were they wrong or were they right? But the majority, probably most of the people on the panel, said that nobody taught them about relationships and they kind of learned on the fly and went through this particular situation. And so I bring that up to say the person who taught me about manhood wasn't my father, right? The person that taught me about manhood was a person that I was locked up with, right? I was locked up. His name was Sharp. I don't even, when you in jail, you only know people by their last names. But Sharp from Youngstown, he taught me everything that it was that I know personally to this day as being a man. But before that, I didn't have those aesthetics or that esteem or that knowledge base or words that were able to come to the realization of what a man looks like, what a man feels like, how a man treats a woman, and all of these particular things. And I had to be specifically taught this. And so I bring this to you guys. Who taught you about manhood and were they right?
It's messed up that you threw the second part of that question in there. Were they right? Since I opened my trap out.
You're gonna have to go. You're gonna have to go deep back into the. You're gonna have to go deep back into the shaft category for that, Brian. Way back into the shaft category.
I would say my dad and my mom divorced when my brother and I were 3. So he wasn't really in the picture, right? Even though we did visit him in the summers, it wasn't like I got to grow up watching the man around the house. But my uncles were prominent. I looked up to them as people that knew how to do stuff, and my mother's father. So I would say mostly my mother's father and her 2 brothers were the ones who taught me about manhood the most. Now, not everything that I learned was savory, you know. Some of it was a bit immature depending on the timing coming from one of my uncles, or really both of them. They knew how to act up, but at the same time they were both providers, you know what I mean? They not to the detriment of their selves or their own energy, but they took care of their families, and they were smart men who knew their way around cars and hunting and all kinds of things. And I chalk that up to that's how their dad was, my grandfather. So I would say it would be my grandfather and my uncles, just watching them, because I didn't really get to spend my life with them. But times that I did get to see them, I damn sure paid attention. And when they said stuff, I listened. Um, and I would say that they were right about most things. Um, as far as my uncles, some of their advice about women to me was a little off-putting, but it's because they were the only 2 guys in town that were allowed to date some of the girls because of the reputation of their parents and because they were like nice guys on the outside. So they got to have a lot of freedoms. Anyway, I'll say that's a bit skewed, but other than that, you know, I learned from my granddad and my uncles, and I feel like what they taught me was good.
That's good, because the reason that I was bringing it up, because a lot of men, bro, like, believe it or not, like, I'm asking this question because it's some men that never was taught anything about relating. So you might have a daughter, you do have a daughter, right, that might meet a guy, right, and you might want to ask this question. Like, these are very important things to kind of, who taught you about being a man and protecting or loving or caring for my daughter, right? Because these are things that are important to me. However, if your daughter is just like liking dudes and you don't like, we could assume that since somebody told us, somebody told somebody else. But as I'm coming to realize, that's not the case. But go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, that was, to that point, that was deep. As far as me, like who taught me to be a man, it was a combination of my father for sure, and also just like men who I experienced and who were in the world. My father was a part of my life and did everything he could to be there. at the same time, like just because of responsibilities of trying to take care of us, like financially and things like that, he couldn't always be in the house. He would be away for 2-3 years at certain times. Um, he did his best to reach out to me and try to see what was going on and give me guidance, but at the same time, he wasn't there. So there was certain things that he couldn't see, he couldn't give me guidance on. During those times, my mother tried. She knew that I needed that manly experience. I had uncles and cousins, but like to Prime's point, she ain't trust some of them because she know how they get down. But she always made sure that whether it was in school or just like in the neighborhood, that she was speaking to like the men that were there. So, for example, like I just remember being in middle school and me kind of being like, like what am I doing out here? Our vice principal was somebody who, for example, it was just who was able to set the tone for young men, and be able to kind of inspire us and show us different things that we might not have been able to see, just based off of like what our dealings were. At the same, my father was. I grew up in a neighborhood where I was the only kid whose father kind of came, who was there. Even when he wasn't there, he came. Everybody knew who my dad was because he was the only dad kind of around. So I always had that, and that always provided me with a certain kind of level, like a level of respect in the neighborhood and things like that. And people looked up to me because they looked up to my father, because they knew that he was a man, he was doing the right things. So getting those little tidbits from my dad when I could, and when he couldn't be there, my mom doing her best to try to find men who she respected, who she thought maybe I need to have a conversation with, a relationship with, who can, who might better just take me out fishing, who may just show me something that she can't do or provide, to be able to just provide a little bit of guidance, just to keep me going, based off of what I was dealing with in those times.
And let me add, ladies, take notes, because a lot of y'all say that the baby dad ain't around, but yet and still you're not active in initiative of having physical, masculine, positive male role models around your son, right? Just because the dad ain't around still wouldn't be a viable excuse if you really serious about the overall development of your son. So, sir.
Would
And I'm on the
definitely.
trigger today, so don't worry about it.
Okay, can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right, so I would definitely have to say, being raised by my mother and her sister, only knowing my father up until 13 years old, the environment that in which I was in was extremely masculine and extremely aggressive. Um, so the environment that I was raised in was extremely aggressive, but I would say what taught me how to be a man and what a man was and relating was a single mother, her sister, my uncle, my father, and just the environment. Overall, I would say my baseline would start at everything that a man was not, and everything that it did not take to relate is what everything I had learned up until the point that I realized there was need for a change. So learning about manhood and relating and where I learned it from, I absolutely learned it through the environment that I was raised in. And there was no man in the house. Like, I knew my father from about 4 years old to about 13 years old. After that, everything else was just a watch. But then I learned from my mother by her disdain and her abhorrent just disgust with his unavailability. I learned what relation was not. And so by the time I became a father, my objective was always availability being the best ability. It sounds cliche, but the father that and the mother that works 80 hours a week and doesn't see their kid and can justify that by saying they need to pay the bills, but your kid isn't healthy because your kid doesn't see you. I could chalk that up as child abuse too. So the way I look at it is I was taught by my environment about how to relate to people because I was shown exactly what not to do.
Yes, bro. Because a lot of times people do not imagine that you can learn from negative environments the way that, like, being in a single parent household, you do your damnedest to be a father to your children because you know exactly what that's like. And so you're trying your best. But ultimately, what I find out is that, like, if you're a man and you're very centered on like being there for your children, you got to really communicate that to your significant other when they're giving you shit, right? Because you're not there specifically for them to make them happy. You're not even there to be judged by them. You're there because your dad wasn't there for you and you're trying to be there for your children. But your significant other is going to not hold that in high regard for you in reference to why you're even there. It's always existential or specifically about them at a personal level, what they see in you, what they feel about you, but not
And if there was ever a travesty, that is the one right there.
Yeah, that's the biggest travesty of all time because in general, when a man has a child with a woman, he really wants to make it work if he wants to make it work, right? For that specific reason, that is the reason why he wants to make it work. So he's not really paying attention to you, right? He's not loving you down. He's not giving you all of the attention and romanticism because he's not necessarily there for that. He's there to provide a masculine energy so his son doesn't have to grow up without that imbalance, which he had to grow up and through because nobody teaches you about manhood if you don't have uncles, if you don't have fathers, if you don't have cousins. Generally, for most young boys, they are taught by their friends, right? Mm-hmm. And you could even be from a good household and still be taught from your friends. And so it's very important to find people, older men, older gentlemen, and learn from them about areas, especially if you're failing, especially if you're struggling, especially if you're dealing with hardships in your relationship. The reason why your relationship is not doing well is because you don't know what to do within it, right? Because if you knew what to do within it, you would succeed and thrive, right? Because that's what human beings do when we learn and we know. But like I said, nobody generally teaches us, maybe not the people on this panel, but for the majority of young black males out here, nobody is specifically teaching them how to be lovers, how to be carers or nurturers. They have to find that within themselves, right? From their experience. Now, moving on, because I want to trigger people today. I really do feel as though when black men make great points, make you think, become real thought-provoking, he is the center for ad hominem attacks, meaning that his conversation won't be vetted or judged. Something about him aesthetically or something about him energetically or something just about him, about his past or whatever the case may be, whatever dirt you can find on a black man that you don't like, it's very important to bring that out and hold it in his face and say, I shouldn't listen to you or respect you or deal with you because you are blank, right? And Bill Cosby is that situation. R. Kelly is that situation. And a whole list of others, right? T.I., you just go on and on and on, right? Whatever happens between people in lifetime, it seems as though when it's a man, a black man specifically, it gets magnified and then canceled. Now, the question that I have for the panel is if a person such as Kevin Samuels is gay, as people say, does that makes his point less valid? And let's digress. Growing up, I used to see a lot of my male aunties, male aunties, right? Female women aunties have gay friends, and it never was a thing, right? Mm-hmm. They would get dressed on Friday, getting out, and they'd be like, "That's Charmaine or David or whatever," you know. It was never a thing where it was a negative energy. That's just who that person was. And we know about, you know, going to school and the little boy who paid more attention to the girl energy than the boy energy. So I say all of this to say that being gay isn't new to Black people. But when it comes to demeaning a Black man, it's like, call him gay, right? And since it is Pride Week and we want to observe these things, I find it something that I'm trying to really understand. Am I tripping when I feel like people are doing an ad hominem attack on this brother? Or is it the fact that he's gay and he should shut up? Right? Right? Because I feel as though if he was gay, I still would listen to what he has to say as a human. But that's just me, and maybe I'm fucking weird, okay? So that's why I got you brothers on the panel to help me bring some... Help me out, help me understand what that man being gay has to do with his points. But go ahead. If he is even
I can't
gay.
help you.
Okay, go ahead.
I can't help you. I'm just gonna say real quick. I can't help you because let me be careful of what I say here. A lot of the majority of, let me say it that way, the majority of homosexual males that I've met in my lifetime have had very good perception in terms of people's psychology. To me, they almost have that feminine energy. Like a woman can tell you all about a person after talking with them for 5 or 10 minutes. Well, not all about, but you know, they can tell you a lot emotionally and energetically. Whereas guys, we're like, well, they didn't say they like Big Macs, so I can guess they don't like Big Macs. You know, we ain't on that level. And I think that that's one thing that gay guys have definitely picked up from the feminine side and do very well is that character. Some of them, again, not all of them, you know, being able to see through certain characters. So if it came down to it, you know, I don't think that relationship advice from a guy that was gay will be any different than me going to a guy or a woman for relationship advice, as long as that guy or that woman had good insight into people. I don't care where the information comes from, because I've learned in life that it can come from the weirdest of places. What did Jesus say about a sowing circle and about the wells is where you'll find some of the best knowledge in the city, you know? So yeah, that's all I could say to that, because I don't really watch Kevin Samuels, but I've been hearing all of the I don't even know what to call it. I can't call it backlash. Ad hominem, yeah,
where they're attacking his character.
Yeah,
they're attacking his character.
Like, why, right? If you know, why prosecute somebody? If y'all watching them, then listen to what he got to say. If you don't like what he got to say, stop watching.
Watch somebody else. Go ahead, Jeff.
Is it?
Yeah, just to that point of like his message, gay, does that matter? I just kind of go back, like this little history on me, like who really cares? But like growing, like in high school, I went to arts high school, very artsy. At the same time, I played football.
Did you go to Duke Ellington, man?
Nah, I went to school in Silver Spring.
Oh, okay, all right. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah, high school in Silver Spring, play high school. It was a arts high school.
This Negro just said very artsy.
That's
I wish y'all could have heard me snicker when he said.
Oh my God.
Duke Ellington produced a lot of good talent, man.
Prime, like
I'm not laughing at Duke Ellington. I'm laughing at this guy. He said very artsy. Okay, that's all.
Like we get it.
We get it.
Carry on.
So yeah, me, you know, I played football. I was captain of the football team. Like that's supposed to, you're supposed to be a jock or whatever. I was like, if you knew me, you wouldn't, like, I don't talk about that. You wouldn't think that was who, like, the character that I played when I was in high school. because I went to arts high school. Like I was cool with everybody. Like anybody who knows me, they knew I was friendly with, like, I mean, be careful with that word, but I was cool with everybody. Like it was dudes on the team who I knew, were gay. Not because like I knew they were gay, but like they their tendencies, and like we played football from ninth grade to 12th grade. It would be the same crew. All right, so ninth grade, if somebody showed a certain behavior, and then 11th, 12th grade, they come out and they're open about like, all right, I'm this. To me, it was the same person. Like all right, and like when they didn't have in ninth grade, they couldn't say that, they didn't feel that, but like we're older now. Now people are coming to their own, and some people had a problem with people being honest about who they were. But the point was, brothers, we was all in a locker room together, like not doing no funny stuff, but like being brothers in the locker room. Like just because somebody's like now coming and saying like this is who I am, to be honest, I knew it the whole time. But I made sure we took precautions, but other people kind of coming at people like, oh, he's this, not brother, he was there the whole time, you wasn't paying attention. And to that point, it's like people are who they are. Either you should be able to see it, and even if you don't, like, as long as they're not being conniving, because the people who I'm talking about weren't being conniving, they just had to grow into themselves to become confident enough to be open. That's how all people are. Like, so the point of Kevin Samuels is like his message is his message, whether I'm listening to it or not. Like, he's consistent with it. I'll say that much. He is consistent with what he's saying. So whether he is a straight heterosexual man or not, like, you can't knock his message from coming from him, because he's been consistent with it. So whether you have a problem with him looking at another man, and maybe he's attracted to him, like, that's what does that have to do with you? If you're not that way, like that's like me, like I said, I was captain of the football team. Them dudes, I knew who they were the whole time. When they came out, that didn't affect my relationship with any of the women in the school I knew. I was still doing what I did. So what that got to do with you, fam? Like I said, unless they being conniving and playing games like that, then what difference do it make? My high school was very artsy.
I like that. I like that response. Thank you.
Fuck your artsy high school.
I know.
Bro, is the next question connected to this question?
Let me check. Yeah, it is. It is.
Okay, perfect. We did this earlier in the pregame, and going into the pregame, I realized that we started a conversation that I had inadvertently, but still subconsciously advertently inserted my shadow. And the reason why I did it is because I was trying to figure out something that didn't need any figuring out. I'm sorry if it sounds like I'm talking cryptic, but I will make you privy to the information once it gets to the end. It will make sense. The idea that Kevin Samuels needs to be answered and questioned and vilified because of his sexual orientation. If we're doing math, since you people like to live by competition, if we're doing math, he's winning. If we're doing math, right? Because if my response to your good point is, well, you're gay, how would that sound to you, right? Like, if you see two people in the street arguing, right, and the one person is making very logical, good, streamlined, straight to the fucking points, right? And the other person is like, well, you like men's butthole, right? Mm-hmm. You just like, yeah, like, I won this one, bitch. I don't care. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just want to be real honest, right? That's the first thing. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But the reason why I bring that up is because There's an underlying thing that goes back to a psychological hold that a lot of melanated men have on themselves, in which they really have an issue with watching other melanated men succeed. There is an underlying theme there where you would go to your Walmart, your Target, your Best Buy. You will go to those places and get your so-called goods. But if your best friend said he was selling anything in the realm of that, you'd be like, yeah, that motherfucker lying. I ain't fucking with him, regardless of knowing the situation or not. Your instinct is not to fuck with the guy that's close to you. It's to fuck with the guy who's beating you. So I say this again, the question that we are on now points to the second question that we have. Because the melanated man has an issue with another melanated man succeeding in front of him. Psychologically, he thinks that points to him personally, and that means, damn, he made it, and I can't make these excuses no more. I can't live with these excuses no more. I can't make these excuses about my baby mother. I will tell you right now, I lived with a child and took care of a family with a child that was not mine while I lived in the house and paid the child support, living in the house. So when you come to me, or when you come to somebody else and you want to talk about your baby mother or your baby father issues, it's null and void. But when we get to something like this, a man who is trying to give knowledge and jewels and profound information to people who have never sniffed it, who have never even come close to a stratosphere of trying to understand 1 + 1 = 2. Men, especially melanated men, do not know 1 + 1 = 2 in a relationship. They don't. That is a fact. They don't. But it's not their fault. But we treat it like it is. We treat it like everything is fault. And then when they want to get behind something, they want to get behind something that, dare I say, might be positive. It's, damn, that nigga gay. Wow. Like, if that is the best response you have, I'm not even a fan. Kevin Samuels is winning. But you brothers need to check yourselves as to why you hate to see another brother win. It should be inspiration to inspire your spirit to get you to move, as opposed to you taking it personal because you didn't do that, right? Nobody puts you front and center until you put yourself front and center. So if you're worried about being judged, being called down to the carpet, how about you do something before you get to the fucking carpet, nigga? Like, it's that simple. We make it difficult. We make it difficult. I've made it difficult. Shadow work 101. If you can't own your shit, you can't point out nobody else's shit. Period. I don't want to hear what another nigga did on his Sunday afternoon. What you did yesterday, nigga. That's how this works. Y'all talk about accountability. This is how this works. Be accountable to yourself.
Can I add real quick, bro? Real quick. If a person was failing, you wouldn't never call them gay, straight, or otherwise. You wouldn't even care.
You wouldn't even care, bro. Wouldn't even fucking care. Like, I don't even know how we talk about A and B and we go straight to Y. Like, I don't even know. Even in an irrational conversation, I don't even know how that works. But I digress. Like, so who gives a fuck about his sexual orientation? That nigga made a point that you can't rebuff, you can't retort, you can't do nothing to. The best you can say is, you got problems. What? Wait a minute. We're not going to address this? Oh, it's the usual. We're not going to address it. So we're going to call names. We're going to make this emotional. Blah, 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 blah. That man is profound. And that man, it's not like he deserves to be propped up, but he deserves to be acknowledged. You got people that have been around you half your life that don't tell you this shit. and you still look at them like gods. Let's get to that.
He has
I'm
a
done.
lens.
I'm
He,
done.
ha-
I'm done.
he has a lens that he looks through. Like he has some boundaries with which he sees these situations. And it doesn't mean that everybody that's listening has to or adopt um, adapt to or adopt those boundaries. You mean like say you got somebody in your town that is a very good fisherman, right? And you're like, dude, that dude be catching some fish, yo. And you go up to him and say, now, Mr. Fisherman, can you give me some advice on stocks and bonds and how do I invest, right? You know what I'm saying? Like appreciate the person for what they do, right? And Kevin Samuels has a lens to the world, and if you want to listen to his perspective through his lens, then listen to his perspective through his lens, and
Yeah.
understand that that's his lens. You know?
This is the way I view it. Because like I told you guys, I'm not a fan. And I'll just say this one little point. This is the way I view it. If you have an issue with what he is saying, do some inner work and figure out if what he is saying is true. If it
Yeah,
doesn't resonate with you and it is not true, then it is your
you
job to
shouldn't have an
dissect.
issue.
It's your job to dissect that thing. And then it's your responsibility to present your evidence. Don't come to me or anybody else with no emotional shit. Don't come to nobody with no salacious TV stand shit. Come to somebody with some actual evidence. And then you can have the real conversation. Otherwise, the rest of this shit is cannon fodder. Like, I really don't understand how you people have that much time in your day to pay attention to this kind of shit.
And let me just say this. Never in my life have I ever heard my dad call his wife or my mom a bitch or a hoe
Word.
or a slutty ass hoe or nothing to that effect.
Word.
But I definitely have heard Future and all of your favorite rappers say some
All of them.
crazy ass shit in
All of
reference
them.
to black women. But never in my life have I seen my brother, my dad, my grandfather, my uncle disrespect black women. Now,
Not one of them.
Now,
Not one of them.
I don't say that's for every family, but when we look at the normalization of black toxicity, that has been
And
established.
disrespect,
That has been established by the corporate, the music business and the entertainment business. So when a man sits down and speaks plain English, he could never be bitter or degrading to women if he's referencing his point of view. Now, a person doesn't have to like everything that you say, and then people can process what you're saying as a way that you didn't ever intended to say it. Or you could just be a dick or an asshole to get views and to get attention. But I think
and you can't scream and harm foul when you pull up on the scene playing wop that pussy. Like you can't.
But a lot of men, bro, have had negative experiences with black women. But then when you reference women as a whole, it's this overall generalized perfection of this model citizen that has never done anything wrong in life. And everything that you've done has been to deter her, to bring her down, to destroy her. But when you get into certain relationships, bro, like the nitty gritty, and as men, we've experienced women put on their cleats and run far away from us, right? When we intentionally wanted to hold that relation down. Every man experiences that.
I've been there.
Word.
For like,
and shout out to the chat. The chat is real live. Shout out to the chat. Peace and love to y'all. Word them up.
Go ahead though. I just wanted to say that we experienced this, and so generally, if we don't have a word or a voice to what happened in that situation where I was about to lay my life on the line for this woman and she ran away from me. Well, some women fear commitment and things of that nature. Some women look at you and figure they can do better than you. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like these types of things that you never even think about.
That's the hardest part. And I think that's the hardest part in life, when you have to discern from something that you went through or something that you had to go through versus something that you needed to conquer to understand what the next step was.
Right. So the next step in this conversation, as we are struggling, trying to find our way and our footing in life, do you have a hard time looking at other black men succeed. And I want you men to be honest. Did you ever look at a black man succeed in life and feel, man, that should be me? That nigga don't deserve that shit. Or even worse, I hope something bad happens to this nigga. I don't want this nigga to win. Like, fuck that. He's obviously dark-skinned, and we know dark-skinned people shouldn't have positive energy sent to them. And he's chubby. He's chubby talking about spirituality. Like, how did that work, man? I'm fit. I got
and
muscles.
He got glasses.
He got
and
glasses.
The nigga got glasses, yo.
He got glasses.
Fuck
This
out
nigga
my
make
face.
up words.
This nigga likes hills. This nigga calls them mounds. This nigga likes hills.
He's a weirdo. He's a weirdo. Deserves nothing, right?
And that's my fucking nigga. How about that?
Deserves nothing. So, no. Do we have a hard time looking at black men succeed? Now, be honest, man. I want y'all brothers to look at your life and say, yes, I felt that or no.
I'll go first. Growing up, the relationship with money and watching other men succeed was difficult in the projects, especially when there was no man there. There was only a woman raising me, and she resented the idea of the man never being there, and so her attitude was always reflected that back onto me. So my idea was, when a man was never there, never present, the man was lacking in his idea of what he was supposed to be fucking doing. So I resented men for a while growing up because of that ideal being placed on me because he was never there. So I will say that the inference with looking at another man succeed, it's always like, all right, why wasn't that my dad? Or why wasn't that me? Or why wasn't that my brother? Or why wasn't that, my cousin? Or why, you know what I'm saying? So you always look at it in comparison to yourself, because the human has to conceptualize in order to believe what is true and not. So the human needs to conceptualize it by making the comparison to self, or what he thinks of as self. And that self will be its family situation versus the situation it's looking at. So if you see another man in the projects or in your hood or in your, your immediate environmental vicinity, and he's succeeding, and he's just like you, and he looks just like you, and he comes just where you come from, and he ain't do nothing he ain't special. That nigga ain't special. It's easy to develop that because it's the familiarity part that breeds that contempt. You think you understand, but you can only understand it from an intimate level. You don't sleep with that person, you don't live with that person, so you don't really know. But even if you did, the idea is that it's not happening to you, so therefore it shouldn't happen to nobody. So when you have a bad relationship with money, the bad relationship with money translates to anybody else that has money and you don't have money, and blah, 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 blah. So eventually, once I got to a point of making my own money, I then understood why it was such a big thing for everybody. You can never judge a thing until you get a thing, right? So until you get your own, right? It's like we could talk about this shit until we blow in the face, right? You can have all the beautiful points in the world, be very popular, get very viral likes and hearts, and you know what I'm saying? But when we get to the nuts and bolts of that thing and you actually doing that thing, it's like, it's like crickets then.
Yeah.
Right? So I would say, when I found out how to get my own, and I was out of my house legally at 16 on the road getting money, like that was a inner city thing, going out of town to get money. I left at 16. So from 16 up until 22, 23 years old, I was either in the streets doing the craziest shit just to get some money, or I was in jail. So yeah, my idea of another person succeeding was my failure, until I realized that you need to get your fucking own. Like, you just need to get your own. You never know a person is your friend until y'all both got it, right? It's never about when you got it and they don't got it. They need you. or the reverse way around. You need them, right? Let me see what's the interaction like when you both got it. How much do y'all talk? How much do y'all build? How much do y'all put together? Right? So if there is something ingrained psychologically with the so-called melanated Black African American so-called man here, where it's like, I can't see nobody else succeed.
Right.
Because you'll always look at the man next to you as somebody that you can't trust. But you'll look at a nigga on TV and be like, I'll give you all my money. It doesn't make really a lot of sense. But I digress.
There's a psychology of racism. Again, race is unreal. It's, you know, where you from and all that, and race was made up to control people, but nonetheless it exists in this country. And there's a psychology of racism that we've been under, melanated, so-called melanated people have been under for hundreds of years, where we've become distrustful of our own when we see them succeed, because we think they're associated with a bigger house or master or whatever you want to call it, you know. And uh oh, that person's an Uncle Tom, look at them kissing ass, that's why they get this position or did this or did that, right? And it's not uncommon from that point of view. But there's also the point of view of, for a long time, educationally and strength wise, we had to hold ourselves back, because again, hundreds of years of training of, if you show yourself to be strong and powerful, somebody's going to come and beat you down. So a mother or a father who are protective of their children are going to teach their children to act subservient, even if that means not succeeding. We are among the crest of generations that are getting over that hump. We're saying, I'm going to succeed regardless, right? My grandfather and I, before he passed, went into this ice cream shop in North Carolina. And we had to scoot past this white guy sitting at the counter. And I looked at him, ice cream shop. I looked at him as I walked in. And he was looking at me. And I didn't avert my gaze, right? Because I was in my period, whatever you want to call it. I'm like, you know, what the hell are you looking at? So he looking at me, I'm looking at him. I said, all right, I'm going to say hello, because I don't like people looking at me and not saying nothing. Just a pet peeve. So I said, hey. And he said hello. And then we scooted right on by him and sat down. And then we ordered our ice cream and the guy left. And my grandfather said, and he fought in World War II, stormed the beach in Normandy. He said, you know, when we came back from World War II, even in this city, I was in Eden, North Carolina. We were in Greensboro getting ice cream, but in North Carolina, period. He said, and it was illegal for me to walk down the sidewalk and look that man in the eyes. My grandfather told me that he just fought for our country and then came back home, but couldn't look a white man in the eyes as he was walking past him on the street, right? Illegal. So this is the attitude that we're fighting against when we succeed. Every time you succeed, you have to succeed and don't look back. And I think that it's hard for a lot of Black people to how do I say this? I think it's hard for a lot of Black people to see other Black people succeed on a root psychological level, because we're still in that mess. But on a personal level, some of us are just assholes, and we don't like seeing somebody else succeed if we can't get ours. So now, psychological stuff aside, I'm a weird kid, because when I saw people succeeding, especially in high school, I see these cats with these souped up cars, knowing they were selling drugs. I knew I didn't want to go that route because I didn't want to go to prison. I was scrawny as a kid. I couldn't fight. I had to trick people or talk my way out of fights. So I knew I wasn't trying to be about that life. But I studied them, and I thought, okay, they're successful at pulling some of these women, or girls, I should say at the time. But are these the type of girls that I really want to be associated with? And then I started looking at, okay, well, who's doing what I want to do? And I started taking my successes that I saw and trying to emulate them. So aside from the past psychological slavery, racism crap, beyond that, people just got to stop being so damn, what's the word? I don't even know a good word. Serpent, I'm going to have to defer to you on this one.
Get up there and do your own thing.
Yeah, do your own damn thing. And if somebody else is around you successful, then say, good for you. I'm going to do it a different way, or I'm going to do it my way, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that, but you don't got to bash another person for being successful. Figure out what they did that you like. Figure out what they did that you don't like. Don't apply what you don't like. Apply what you do like, and move on. Anyway.
And I like that. But as part of it, that ties into one of the questions, the first question, like, who taught you manhood? Well, who taught people, like yesterday I was with my sons and we're doing paper, rock, scissors. And in my mind, I'm like, this is fair. This is organized because it's like forks. We're walking in the woods and it's forks. And of course, Azor want to go here, Seven want to go there. So we'll do paper, rock, scissors.
Yeah.
And we'll do it fair and square, but no matter who win, you understand, the other kid is going to be mad and sad, like, damn, you know what I'm saying? So it's like really poor sports, but ultimately, imagine if you were taught how to be successful and how to handle your success, right? Imagine if you had not, for some people you don't have to imagine, but for the men and women alike, we don't have the education to be successful, right? In truth, right? For most successes, networking and leveraging, okay, this is our accountant, this is our accounts receivable, this is our accounts payable, this is our technician, this is our admin, this is our fucking tech guy, this is our security guy, this is our money guy, so you have a whole selection of people that help have one focus. Well, when you talk to black people, it's one person trying to do everything. You're trying to do the accounting, you're trying to do the ad, you're trying to deliver the product, you're doing the promotion, you're doing everything in reference to your business, right? When business doesn't work like that.
Yeah, gotta get
it never ever worked like that. You don't know a Fortune 500 company with one employee. You never seen it. You never seen a Fortune 10,000 company with one employee. Meaning that the top 10,000 companies are a group effort. It's a collective to which we don't understand the lessons and knowledge to hold space. Right? This whole space to see what you do good at. What is your specialty? All right, I need a technician, I need a computer engineer. Okay, I can take your skills and I can take this and I can take that and I can take this and then we can have a business, right? And I'm not saying that black people have never done that, because of course black people have done that, but we're talking about the youth that are growing up in Instagram, that are looking at motherfuckers imagining people on Instagram have successful businesses.
Yes.
But that's not a successful business. That is a person that is lying to you, creating an image, and then will then tell you, hey, buy my course. Right? To be successful in starting a business. If you take my course, then you can be successful like me. But what if I'm not successful at all? To which I then just regurgitate a successful business book and then speak it to you. Now you take that information and imagine yourself to be successful because you took a class. So in reference to like, why is it so hard for us to see black men succeed? Is because we don't even know how to become successful in our own right. You know, and that's not, of course, not everybody. You know, there's always exceptions to the rule. But I'm tired of y'all black people being inclusive, right? I need in on a business idea or a plan or an app develop or something. Like, I don't want to exist in a world where we're not coming together and uniting. But go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah.
Yeah, to that point, it's like y'all see me on Instagram, fam. I'm out here every day, like trying, like trying to, you know, show my lifestyle, showing like what I care about my art in one way or another. With all due respect, I appreciate y'all likes and y'all eyes on me. At the same time, those likes ain't paying the bills, fam. And that's not even, that's me, that's the hood, that's to every black man or anybody who's trying to own a business out here. Like, like I don't just the vibe. I'm not somebody who cares about being seen on the internet. I don't care like y'all like to be posting stuff. I do this because it's something that that needs to be done. Like this is my soul work. This is my therapy. I respect the love like you're showing as far as likes and all that, but it's like people like we gotta really are we doing this to be like seen and you know, are we doing this because like we really have purposes and we really trying to benefit, you know, like not even benefit, but are we really fulfilling our soul's mission? And like that's why I display myself like I do, not because trust me, I don't care to be popular. I was making money before I was on the internet. Not saying that from no ego place. And people know me before I was on the internet. People respect me, not because of internet stuff, but because of how I am off the internet. I'm a true and honest person off of the internet. Like I try to do my best as far as being righteous off of it, and not righteous as in being, you know, sanctified, but righteous as in am I standing, am I delivering my purpose? As far as like the whole like black men succeeding, and if that's the issue, that's the issue. That's go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm just gonna seal this up real quick because we have another question behind this. It's really a combination of basic awareness and understanding psychologically, right? So you think you're separate from the whole. So when another person is succeeding and you're not succeeding in that light that you see the other person succeeding based on the premise that you have your eyes set on. Those eyes are set on the premise that is based on an idea, an ideology that you've been fed, so you've been given, you've been programmed with. It's not your ideology, but it exists there, right? So you see somebody else succeeding, and because you see them succeeding, it's not you experiencing what you think they're experiencing, right? It's something wrong with them, right?
Yeah.
That's why you're able to nitpick and fine tune and see every little nook and cranny and little crevice, every little thing they did wrong. They changed their socks wrong on Sunday. You probably know about that too. You're mad. You're just mad.
And it's extremely subtle, and it's not to get out of it. You can't get out of this place through theory or concept. You got to get out of this place through action. So Wallace D. Waddle says you can be in the realm of competition or you can be in the realms of creation, to which if you are in the energy of competition, you're going to look at me and feel a certain type of way. However, if you're in the realm of creation, you're going to look at Serpent and be like, okay, I see what they're trying to do. Let me see if I can assist Serpent. Let me see if I could assist Prime. Let me see if I could assist Jeff. Because I'm not competing with these brothers. I'm here to create with these brothers, and I know that I can't do it by myself. So these brothers is on the platform putting themselves out there, and they don't know I exist. So let me slide into their DMs and say, how can we create together, right? And let's stand on that, right? You know, and bring your team, I'll bring my team, and we'll figure out ways to kind of work these things out. But generally,
there is no one man above the crew.
Nah.
Ain't no one man above the crew. Like, we don't play like that. Like, we don't have no Caesar. Like, we don't have, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, ain't no one dude speaking for all of us. Everybody got their own voice.
Right.
And one of those things versus the other thing is an inalienable right, a natural right, God-given and born to you, the right of creation. The other one is not. Right?
Right. That's been given to you by the European.
It's been taught. Yeah, it's been
by
taught.
the European and colonialism.
That's the learned one.
Yes. Yes, competition, right?
That is not indigenous behavior.
No,
Yeah,
that
because
is animalistic.
you people talk about fair, but you don't know how to treat a loser fair, right? When a person loses, you people forget about him. Motherfuckers be calling people kids and death threatening them because they missed a shot in game 5. Like,
What
nigga,
is that?
like, yeah, you know,
What is that?
like, nigga, kill yourself. Like, why would you do that? Like, you took the time out to call somebody and
Instead of going
make
to
a
practice
death threat.
playing yourself.
Come on, man. Come on, man. Like, it's really ridiculous. So, like, if we really want to get down to it, like, this is your canvas. It's your blank canvas. It's your blank canvas.
Like Hood said, it's a subtle feeling, right? I remember, you know, for lack of a better word, let's call it hating, right? When I would look at brothers pulling up, or you know, with other people and things that I might have thought I wanted at the time, right? I remember having that little disgust in my chest, like why couldn't that be me, right? But I also remember growing beyond it, and to say, the first thing I had to say was it can be me. And then I had to learn, just because it's them doesn't mean that it cannot be me. And then I had to learn.
Did you say when you was 18, Prime, that I want to be the only black person in the suburbs of Rhode Island when I grow up? Because you made it, Prime.
Yo, you made it.
You are a
nigga.
Success.
They should put a float out there for you, my nigga.
Yes.
Like,
I want to be proud one day. I want to be proud one day. He's like,
when we found out he was from Rhode Island, I did a double take. I was like, Rhode Island? I felt like we was in a glitch in the Matrix. Nigga.
I know,
like,
man. I know. It feels weird for me to even say it, man. But you know, once you get over seeing other people, once you understand you can and they can, then the next thing to get over is realizing that there is so much abundance in the universe that all of y'all can, right? Like some people say, well, okay, I know I can and he can, but if he can, he gonna take away some of what I can, and I can't have that. No, you gotta let people do their thing and you do your thing.
Based on my experience, I have no concept of the racial thing, right? Like, I understand what was taught and what was learned, but what my life was like, I have no concept of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
especially growing up in New York, it's like 15 races in the same building. Like,
you know
what are you talking about? Black and white?
Like,
what are you talking about?
Right.
What about the Dominicans? What about the Filipinos?
Yeah,
what about the
like,
Chinese? What about the Koreans? What about the goddamn Japanese?
we
What
was
are we
talking about the
about?
Mexicans because we ain't had no Mexicans in our hood, so we was talking about the Mexicans.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's different. So we was talking in the pregame, and like these questions kind of build up to this question, because like, you know, all of this, like Kevin Samuels, logical, argumentative, discussion energy is not becoming of you as a man trying to get a woman, right? If you ever find yourself in a situation where you pleading your case of why a woman should
with
fuck
Kevin
with
Samuels,
you, you
Kevin
know,
Samuels as your evidence.
yeah, like babe,
Kevin
you gotta watch
Samuels
this
as your
video.
evidence,
Babe, watch this video. I'm sure you're
It's
gonna feel so
over for
different.
you.
Yeah, it's
It's
a
over.
wrap, bro. It's a wrap, bro. Do not, bro. Don't ever
I am
imagine.
so done with you.
Don't
Yo,
ever,
but he
bro.
told the truth. I swear to God. If you want to be with that girl, don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. It's something.
or do it, and she'll come our way.
Well, you know.
I don't want that life. I don't want that life.
Yeah.
No.
Send
You
it
know,
to Jeff. Send it
I'm a
to
little bit
Jeff.
younger.
Send
I
it to
got
Jeff.
you. Tatas.
ta-ta.
Send all of the tatas to Jeff. I'm good.
So it's a difference, because Serpent has said something in reference to like sitting at a date with a woman and, you know, hoping that she gives you some vagina and things of that nature. And I know that that's not my reality, like, ever. Like, you know what I mean? I used to think as a little boy, like when I would be dating women, like, oh, she just doesn't like me, right? And then I got older and seen these chicks' baby dads, and they was like heavy set, dark skinned dudes, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I cannot compete with that. Like,
Like
that nigga look like Tyrese on steroids. I can't do that.
not
I
even
can't.
look exactly like me. And I'm thinking like, damn, I was her type the whole time, but my insecurity took me out of the relationship. So as I got older, like even a little kid, women be like, "Oh, you're dark skinned. Women gonna love you," and I'm just like, "What do that even mean?" But when I got older, and now like, okay, I can kind of sense, okay, it's a level of knowing that you could hit or smash or have sex with a woman, and and taking it off the table, right? Meaning that you're irresistible, and you have to speak more to the facts of we're not having sex because you're either married or you're chaste or you're working on your sexual energy, building up your testosterone and things of that nature, and you're not willing to give your energy. And I told these men earlier, and I'm gonna tell the audience, because that was more or less of a channel, is that as men we have to consecrate our phallus, our scrotum, and our sperm, right? We have to make these things sacred because they are. And if you don't understand that, and then you're just like, okay, it's a woman, she looks halfway decent, let me give her this energy, right? You're not irresistible, you're a crash dummy. When you understand that your energy is sacred, right?
You should jump off a cliff.
Right. Then now you're able to stand in that, right? Because you know that your energy is sacred, and hopefully she would know, or maybe she doesn't, and she'll have to find somebody else. But what are y'all guys' tips and tools and tricks to being irresistible as a man, if you have them? Like, what is your bag? Like, what is your thing? For me, it is to make my energy sacred and to take sex off the table, because generally, if you don't take it off the table, it's insinuated and it's kind of like floating in the air and things of that nature. So you'll generally find out people who are going to be your friends and rock with you for real, once you say, like, we're not going to go down this road. We're not going to flirt. We're not going to hint. And that generally is like a good thing in standing in your masculine energy. But guys, am I too left field or am I too right field? Where am I at with this?
I think you're right and exact, and for the specific point for myself, where I am clearly an eligible bachelor, but I still have a level of discernment that probably comes from you being one of my closest friends. So like, I'll have Hood Mystic Kyrie, aka in this ear, and in the other ear, be like, damn, she looked really good. Like she could probably get anything from me, kind of delicious, like, but Hood Mystic not true, right? So like, I know for me, I don't think it has everything to do with the woman, so to speak. I think it's a level of understanding that I would probably have to have with myself. And that level of understanding would have to be ready to be upfront about my inner inquiries about sexual activities. Like I would have to be extremely forbearing on that front, because then if I see her capable of doing something that I didn't teach her that. Like, you know what I'm saying? You just like, you feel some type of way, right? Your manhood is like, fucking Kanye was in my bedroom, nigga. Like,
I told you, my girl went to Florida. We was living in Boston. She went to Florida for a vacation, and then she came back. She come back. We start fucking, right? She's like, "Oh yeah, bust it, baby, bust it." And that's when that plies was out. I'm like, man, what the hell? You wasn't saying bust it, baby, before you went to Florida. Now you come back talking about, ooh, bust it, ooh, bust it. I'm like, what nigga was saying, ooh, bust it?
That's different.
I'm just saying, bro. I'm just saying, these are just experiences that, you triggering me.
Yeah, I don't talk about nothing that is not a trigger because it triggered me. So I'm going to talk about my shit. So it's going to trigger you. I'm just a reflection of you and all of y'all. How about that? Right? So the point is that the idea is that you think that you're separate. You're not separate. We are all connected. Right? So the idea of what you think of what a relationship is going to be based on your environment of how many relationships exist in that environment, you're going to act those things out. Like that's your idea of relationships. It has nothing to do with what you've been told, unless you've been told by a masculine energy and a feminine energy as you were growing up what a relationship is really about. And they more than likely couldn't give you that. They didn't have that in the tool shed because they didn't have that when they started the relationship and had you. So the reality is nobody knows what the fuck they talk. I'm sorry, I'm yelling. Nobody knows what the fuck. Like nobody knows. Oh,
Let me just get that real quick. I'm gonna get that real quick, and I'm gonna leave that alone because nobody knows anything, right? Because we're all separate, but we're all parts of the whole, right? Mm-hmm. So if you got the left side of the pizza, you got the right side of the pizza. Of course, it's the same pizza, same pepperoni pizza, but it's a whole different slice. Meaning that once I take this slice, it might have 15 pepperonis on it. It might be a pepperoni in every fucking bite. But your slice might just have one pepperoni on it. Don't make the pepperoni different. It just means that every pizza slice is going to taste different. So when you imagine that you know things about relationships, right? When you know things about women, you are a fucking crash dummy. You are the worst person. Because especially if you are dealing with a man who you might be attracted to, right? But if you're like, oh, he's just like any other nigga, like, what are you talking about?
Words. You heard 3 words that sound like the other nigga. You like oh, he just like him.
He
be
just
like,
reminds
really?
me. So if you can't look at an individual as an individual,
Yes.
and judge him accordingly based upon each, like, so then it's like
each one.
Right.
This is the problem with being promiscuous. Your brain can't even. This is the problem, right? Your brain can't fathom multiple partners, right? This is why you compare.
It can't wrap that around
to that girl, to this girl, to this man, to that man, right? Because your brain.
You will cheat on your significant other in a heartbeat
in a second, or you would break up with your significant other and find another person, knowing that your biology, your chemistry, and your psychology is like. Dog, when you met your first girl,
it's a fluid situation.
When you met your first girl, you love, like, for men, the reason when you get a dude that's 36, that's 40, you get a dude that's 50, and they're not even talking to you, they're just bending your ass over and telling you to get out their house. You know why? You know why they're like that? Because they love the women that
they
did
love it,
them dirty, right? Did them dirty, and now they're not going to be done dirty.
They'll never let go of that story.
They're not going to be done dirty ever again. So, yes, you can't come over to his house unannounced. It's all different types of rules for this old dude. This nigga got rules and shit. Like,
got 5 booby traps.
Bro. Why do you want me to turn my phone in at the front desk of your apartment building? I can't bring my phone to the room? No.
Well, I gotta close my eyes before I come in the front door.
And then walk into your room backwards. Why do you got tape over the number in front of your door? I don't even know the number of the apartment. You just told me the 5th door on the left, sir. I don't understand.
All right, you can take the hood off now.
Yeah.
Why I can't see the glass I'm drinking out of?
Why do I gotta call you sir? Yes, sir, and no, sir. Why do I gotta treat you with respect? My last boyfriends let me do all types of crazy shit. I gotta be all with these rules and things of that nature. The older a man gets.
On this clipboard. I didn't see the words on that clipboard. What you had me sign? Was that an NDA?
An NDA? What does an NDA mean? No drawers allowed. I wasn't wearing panties anyway, sir. You didn't have to make me sign this. So yes.
Oh my God!
I gotta quit, man.
I'm sorry. I got carried away. He threw up the alley-oop. I'm sorry. I got carried away. I'm sorry.
It's gonna, and women, if y'all ain't hearing, like, if y'all not like, if y'all hearing this and y'all laughing, it's all good to be laughing, but at the same time, it's like, it's real. Like, don't, if you keep playing games, it's gonna get to that level at some point if you don't start taking your stuff serious. It just is. It's like,
see, the thing about old dudes, bro, they D don't stop working, and they swivel hip action don't work. So into the 50s and the 60s, they be tearing these young girls back out the frame, and these young girls don't stand a chance with these old niggas. They don't even stand a chance. They don't even know this man's last name. They just know him as Mr. Frank. Mr. Frank. And stop acting like y'all sugar daddies don't be taking Blue Chews and Viagra's, going crazy on that thing, right?
I'm young. As a young cat. I know what's going on. And I'm laughing like with all due respect.
He wear the same airbrush polished penny loafers every Thursday, and he got the type starter jacket pants to go with the starter jacket belt, right? Oh my gosh! You know what? I swear, I love y'all. I love y'all. Like that.
Yeah, me just as a man, and like I'm single, like Ra, in a sense. I ain't married. That's what I mean when I say single. I'm here to stop the like Ra, right? All right, he's single.
Yeah. I'm an eligible bachelor. Okay,
this is different. All right, my fault.
I'm an eligible bachelor.
I'm speaking for myself. I'm speaking for myself.
Yeah. He doing some other stuff, right? He on the periphery, right? I'm on the inskirts, right? Okay, I'm just saying, but I digress.
No, but just to that man being sacred. Like, first of all, to the women out there, especially to the cute women, with all due respect. That ain't doing too much for cats like us. It's a whole lot of cute women out here who out here saying they cute, but like they ain't giving real men what real men need. But that's not. Talk
about it. Yeah. This is a left field joint. You're gonna have to elaborate on that.
This is what I'm talking about, bro. Like it can be. You can run into a wall, or you can take the easy way, bro. And the point.
That's what I'm saying. But to my point, I'm talking just to the woman. Like, I don't take no offense to nothing. I don't have no problems with nothing. Me,
you better listen to Hood Mystic. You better listen to Hood Mystic.
I've taken a year off from any activities just because I needed that for myself. Because I can do that. To his point, I'm sacred too. Y'all are sacred, but we can hold that down ourselves as well because we have to, because we need to, because we are capable of that. So that needs to be respected as well. Women out here, we respect y'all sacredness, but us as men, we can be sacred too. And it has to come together. Like
I'm gonna tell you though, Jeff. Like,
go ahead, I'm listening.
When you're at a particular situation and you're trying to communicate something, that's like, in the middle of the ocean, and you would swim. Like, communicating is like swimming in the ocean to a woman who is a vast ocean. So the best thing to do is pull up on a yacht and impress her, and never think that, okay, I impressed her 2 weeks ago, so that should give me cachet to show up on some fuck shit today. No, you have to be your best self. So my granddaddy is Willie Ellis in Akron, Ohio, okay? If you see that man is a beautiful man. He's going into his 90s. I never seen my grandfather look regular. Okay? And my granddad will knock a 20-year-old, okay? Will knock her ass. He's a photographer. Ask about the photographer in Akron, Ohio, okay? That's my granddad. Okay? In his 90s. At the clubs taking pictures, okay?
The best nigga in the spot. He got the best eye in the spot.
Man, and know where the juice is at, right? Oh, you juicy. Come here. Let me take your picture for free.
Yeah. Who got the mots? He got all the hoes. Nigga. Like
the mots. So it's like when you look at these old school dudes, like you get on TikTok and Instagram and type in the silver daddies, right? These men do not fuck around, boy. You talking about you talking about beauty? You talking about aesthetic? Don't get them into no challenge. You know what I'm saying?
Super
them boys
fly out here. Super fly. First Mayfield birthday, by the way.
So they're not the ones that are trying to talk to women. right? They're not trying to build up a cachet and try to tell women, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that. They're just saying, look at me, look beautiful. Don't you want a piece of this? Oh, you don't? Well, what's wrong with you, crazy girl? I'm the flyest nigga in here. What is you gonna do better than me? So I'm saying, get that esteem within yourself to then just be like, all right, if you don't want me, I understand. You could be psychologically
Something wrong with you.
Something wrong with you. You crazy girl. I am spiritual.
Yeah.
I'm sexy. I'm working out. I'm getting my
Go
money
home and
together.
work on that.
You ain't gonna find a band better than me. You can tell by how I carry myself. And then if you see me a month from now, 2 months from now, 2 years from now, guess who's gonna be on top of his shit that day too? Me. Because this is who I am, right? I'm not trying to change you or mold you or try to attract you or nothing.
Yeah.
But I'm this beautiful, spiritual, feminine energy too. I'm beautiful too. I'm sexy too. And to me, I feel like it's very important for a man to tap into his irresistibleness, his feminine energy, because at the same time, I dare you to be a dusty, crusty nigga and a woman give you a shot. I dare you. I dare you to be a dust buck. I dare you to be a dust bunny, and then imagine that she was going to say, you know what? And she could be a dust bunny herself, but you still wouldn't get no ass, right? Because you a dust bunny. As a man, you got to keep your energy at a certain level, because she will come through looking like Precious mixed with goddamn a barracuda and still look at you sideways, right?
Yep.
So it's very important for you to not look at her and imagine her to do this or do that. You need to be so responsible for your energy and your appearance that you are a magnet to your deepest and truest desires through your aesthetic, through your self-care, through your love, through your sacredness. And as you invest and work in that, you don't have no time to tell a woman what she need to do. Ever. Yep. You ain't never seen a man with his shit together like, hey sis, you need to be doing this, doing that, doing this, doing that. Because they don't got time. They too busy with dealing with themselves and women who just find them irresistible, that want to give them a Brinks truck for their birthday, right? I just think that you need to be with a woman that looks at you as the fucking ultimate of all highs. And if she not looking at you like that, it ain't her fault, it's your fault. How about that?
How about that?
And it's no
I ain't mad at that at all.
It's no disrespect, but the tapped in people are tapped in for a reason. And if you're not tapped in, it's not an issue to the tapped in people. It's just your issue because you're stuck on the periphery, right? You're stuck on, these physical things that you like to accumulate. So when you realize that you are actually the one that can manifest the thing that is physical that you like to accumulate, like some people like. What's the next question? What's the next question? I'm done. I'm done.
Man. I'm gonna throw an answer on this one, man, real quick.
All right, go ahead.
All right, talking about irresistibility. You got to remember to keep humor. Like I've been telling people, at least on my Instagram page, go like a comedian. Go follow a comedian. Read a book. I read The Last Unicorn. That joint was hilarious.
Okay.
That joint,
Yeah. That's a beautiful book, bro.
Old girl has been through some stuff. Tiffany Haddish, right? Just get it. Okay. I'm working on Black is the New White by Paul Mooney.
Okay.
Man, from the rip, he had me laughing, like page 1. You know what I'm saying? Get used to laughing and get used to honesty. As a man, if you can be honest with yourself and if you can laugh at yourself, it will do so much for your character in terms of making it genuine. It's like tempering a sword, with hot and cold. That humor and that laughter and honesty, right? So between humor and honesty, if you keep it going, be true to yourself, be real with yourself. If you do something and it's messed up, find the funny in it. Find the humor in it. and keep on moving. You know, allow yourself to be laughed at. Sometimes, man, like I was telling these guys on one pregame, I've done walked into poles and fell over trash cans looking at a young lady, you know, because I wasn't paying attention to where I'm going, right? And
I'm
I
wearing
just
this
had to
hat because I got a
laugh.
knock on my head. I got a knot right there. Like I just did that. Like look at that joint. Like I should keep talking, keep talking.
There was this man, and I ain't gonna get into stories, but let's just say, you know, you got to be able to laugh at yourself, right? You got to have a degree of vulnerability to be able to laugh at yourself, and then wholesome humor in your view of the world, and that takes being honest with yourself. So that's all I would say for that. You know, how do you make yourself irresistible? You make yourself irresistible by being your true self. The easiest way to be your true self is to be honest. Be honest with yourself. Like Serpent said, don't be lying about your inner feelings. If you meet a chick, if you a guy and you meet a woman and you are like of the mindset that you are definitely trying to get with her physically, don't lie. Don't lie. Let her know she's attractive. Let her know she's attractive in that manner. And if she tells you, nope, strictly platonic, say, okay, at least you know where you stand, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
So be honest. Be practice honesty. Let me say it that way. Practice honesty.
That's that's real shadow work too, just because like I communicate with these guys and like just about kind of my day to day. And like there was a time when I was just going through some real life stuff, and Prime just gave me an example of a comedian to listen to.
Right.
And to be honest, like that's I like this is good. What I'm about to say sound deep, but like I felt like that saved my life. Like in a it saved my
Cool.
day. Let me say that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
I was going through some crap, and if I didn't listen to that, if I didn't just take that time out to be able to just forget what I was dealing with in that moment and be able to laugh in that, like it brought memories back. It brought like just good memories, but it also helped me release a lot of stuff too. That
Dope.
if I didn't release it by laughing, and that laughing turned to
Yeah,
crying. I cried that
yeah.
night too, like real, but like I just needed to let that stuff go. It was
Hmm.
just some real stuff that was in me that I just had to get out. And once I let that go, like everything became beautiful again.
Hmm.
For real.
Hmm.
I'm sorry, I forgot we were supposed to be answering the question about irresistibility, and I would like to do my part for irresistibility, if that's okay. Um, so routine is something that you would create when you're trying to develop something, when you're trying to create something, so to speak. So you create a routine that you'll probably do every day because you're trying to get really good at a thing. So if you would create the routine, then you would have to have the discipline in order for you to make that routine work for you. You're not just going to
Hmm.
create the routine, right? So then once you incorporate the routine into your being, it goes from the routine to discipline. And that discipline then creates this field of confidence that is unspeakable and untouchable, right? When you get to that field, but it only develops through the person with effort and a true methodical and consistent nature at a thing. Like you wanted to have to create that thing. So they created that thing. And that thing developed their confidence. That confidence is unseen. It's untouchable. That's your confidence. It's yours. The irresistibility in my experience comes from the idea of being able to offer a thing to a woman, being able to be a total gentleman to a woman
Hmm.
without making an advance at a woman,
Yeah.
being able
Giving
to
her that
tell
space.
her, yes, being able to admire her beauty, but not making it obnoxious, right?
Hmm.
Not making
Hmm.
it too
Hmm.
forward, not being too imposing, not stepping over any lines or any boundaries, correct?
Not making her go, ew, he a creep. Ew.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like real nonchalantly, but there is an aura that is created from that confidence that you develop because you worked on that thing. You developed that thing.
Mm.
So I think the irresistibility comes from the inner knowledge that one has of self. and realization from working on a thing that he or she is able to exude without anyone else knowing what they are so fucking happy and confident about. They have this like thing where it's just like floating. It's just, why are you so fucking happy? And they're like, huh, nothing. I'm like, yeah, fucking God shit they got going on, but you just don't have no fucking recollection of it. But it does exist. You know what I'm saying? Like I seen that shit with Hood Mystic come in the room like he wasn't walking. That shit just floated. Like, how did you sit down? Where was your legs at? Like, like like this nigga scared me so many times. I was like, I'm not calling him for like 3 days. I'm not gonna talk to him for 72 hours, right? So what I'm saying is irresistibility comes from knowing. When you have a knowledge of a thing that is appealing, it becomes intriguing because they don't know. And they want to know what would make you want to know it. And why are you so good at it? And why is it so important? And blah, blah, blah. You understand? That's where the irresistibility comes in. It's your knowing of a thing because you worked on the thing, your creation of that thing. Yep. There is a pheromone collection and send off like a radar that's sent off, and you know, the woman just gravitates to that because she can see that. Like a woman gravitates to an alpha and an alpha pursuit. And that's an alpha pursuit. So that's how I would describe that. I'm sorry. Irresistibility.
You good.
Turn the damn TV off.
Learn to listen.
I was saying, I was just saying how is the desire for a lot of men to be desirable, but they feel as though they absolutely cannot. This is why the spiritual energy is very important for men to understand, because what you realize is that you're androgynous. So there isn't anything that a woman can do that a man can't do, and there's nothing that a man can do that a woman can't do, except for the biological processes in reference to the endocrine system. Right.
Menstrual cycle.
Yeah, things of that nature.
And the neurological impulses. The neurological impulses are different from male to female.
So you're talking about the inner workings, but when you reference attraction, right, we're also referencing the mannequin, right? So you have the male mannequin and you have the woman mannequin. There is no, you can put the man clothes on the woman mannequin, you can put the woman clothes on the man mannequin, and generally whoever rocks that shit, right? It's just a beautiful thing or it's not a beautiful thing, but ultimately when it comes to aesthetics, like a man could get his nails done, a man could, you know, shop and get his clothes tailored, a man could, you know, get form-fitting clothes. Or...
I just wanted to say real short and sweet, just because you know how they allowing kids to identify in different genders just because they want to identify in different genders, right? Because they want to do whatever they want to do, right? I said I'm just going to identify as somebody who got the vaccine. I didn't.
No. I was sending kites to my niggas in jail saying,
I don't want
what?
anything else. I'm just gonna identify as somebody who got it. Like nope. You know what? That's between me and my vaccine-ish. Okay, my vaccine.
But not even that. What about if you're locked up? What if you're locked up and you decide, hey, you know what? I don't feel imprisoned any longer. I don't identify with being in jail any longer. I self-identify as being free, warden. You know what? You're being a bully. You're being a bully, warden.
I don't identify with being a rapist no more. I don't identify with raping like 13 girls last year. I don't identify with that.
You can't say that word on the internet, bro.
Man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you can't say that.
Yeah, I'm
but
sorry.
The next question. Next question.
Next question.
Because because it's nobody listening in. It's machines that listen to every video on YouTube, and they pay attention
picked
to
up
words.
on the word. They picked up on the word.
So
my bad. It was a joke. It was a cartoon joke.
It's not.
It wasn't.
It's all good. I'm just saying that
It was a Chinese cartoon joke. I was just translating.
the machine, the YouTube algorithms ain't gonna listen to your explanation,
Right.
and your reason for saying it.
AI
You just
does
said
not
it.
understand
It doesn't
context.
care about your context and your reasoning for it, and you don't have to tell me.
The intention is irrelevant.
Yeah, it doesn't
the
matter.
intention is irrelevant.
Irrelevant.
Yeah. So, in reference to just relationships and things of that nature, I wonder if a woman told you before y'all got any deeper that she was a call girl, like on the first date, right? Would you continue that date? Why or why not?
Me?
Anybody. This is for the panel. What you mean?
Yeah, I passed. Oh my god!
I
passed.
Nah. So like a date to me, like that's even a date. Like I don't even like. I'm not somebody who's like pressed. Like I know a lot of girls. I have a lot of girlfriends. Just like in the most innocent way. I mean, like I got a lot of girlfriends. I was never somebody to be like, oh, I like she's my girl, like, or to be pressed about trying to like claim something. I'm a curious ass dude. I want to get to know what's going on. So me, like if I know a female, a woman, a man, anything, I'm trying to dig deep and understand what's really going on. So if a girl was to say something like that to me, that's gonna entice me, not because I want to be with her, but because I want to understand what the hell the situation is, so I can get an understanding of the situation. So I have a little bit more just enlightenment in life. Like, so if for me, a girl to say something like that, I'm gonna be like, oh, this girl crazy. Let me get to know what's going on. Let me figure what's going on. I'm not here to be like, that's my girl. I'm the type of dude like, all right, this is this is my homegirl, Katie. She like, I'm not gonna tell everybody her business, but like she's just my homegirl. I'm hanging with her because I'm trying to see what's going on. Say less. I don't got to tell you details. That's how I ride.
Hood Mystic, check the chat. Is there anything in the chat you want to answer?
I mean, I'm not like, a call girl is a girl that has sex for money or goes on dates for money or whatever she does for money. It's a first date. I'm just getting to know her, and she's single and she's looking for a guy to, meet. I met her on goddamn Plenty of Fish and decided, hey, let's meet for coffee.
You keep mentioning Plenty of Fish. I can't spell that. Can you spell that for me later on?
I'll teach you. It's real simple. Okay. It's like 911, just POS. But anyways, 3 numbers, 3 letters, same thing. It's real simple.
Wow, wow.
But in reference to like a call girl, an escort, or a prostitute, whatever name you want to give it, it's more of like a matter of semantics. If you're on a date with a woman and she says for money, she has sex with other men, goes on date with other men, but it's strictly financial, it's strictly a business, and she's looking to establish a real relationship with a man in her life, and this is what she does and this is who she is, would you accept that? Why or why not? Would you continue the date?
I wouldn't, because I'd be too concerned about the hygiene, man. I just couldn't do it, man.
I had a particular interaction with a young lady that I met at a club one night. I was probably about 26, 27 years old, and she was extremely attractive. She was a fair-skinned woman, and she was very, very, very attractive. I'm just gonna re-emphasize that. And so she asked me for a ride at the end of the night, and I wound up taking her to nearest coffee spot, got some coffee because I had to take like an hour and a half ride to drop her off. At the coffee spot, apparently a John ran up on her and was like, hey, you owe me like services. And she was like, yeah, but I'm with like this black guy right now, and like he'll fuck you up. And I was just like, well, I gotta fuck somebody up. Like I just came
for coffee.
And then it turned out that she was a call girl. So I was just like, oh, you do this for real, for real. Like, so.
You make me want to change my mind. You want me to change my answer, yo?
Yeah. So what wound up happening, I took her home and the sex was auspicious, right? But that's beside the point. What happened was she had said that she was going to take off the rest of the night because she wanted to go home with a real man. And I was like, yeah, flattery will get you everywhere. But then what happened was I noticed that she got a lot of calls during the night, and my head was hurting because I kept turning over and her phone was ringing, but she wasn't moving. I was like, "Bitch, you used to this. This is not gonna work." So, then I proceeded to do what I was supposed to do. I went to the doctor and checked myself out, and then I never messed with her ever again. I just like
3 days later, go
yeah,
see the doctor.
Pennsylvania. I was like, yeah, you're a beautiful white girl, but you might have slept with I just couldn't.
Don't even count them. Don't even count them.
Yes. So I didn't want to judge her. I just wanted to judge myself. Like, nigga, what you did? What happened? You played craps. What happened? What happened? I was looking.
And let me just say, in reference to like hygiene, in reference to like women who are in adult entertainment, they're more hygienic than women who are not in adult entertainment because this is what they do to make money. The average girl doesn't have sex a lot and doesn't even understand hygiene, and like, not to say that girls don't, but the average girl, you could tell them a lot of stuff about hygiene if they like, you know what I'm saying? Because especially as we getting into this consciousness and spirituality, their mom would tell them to get like Tampax and maxi pads and summer's eve and things of that nature. And then you get in the conscious community, they like, don't ever take that, you know what I'm saying? Get the cotton or get the yoni cup and things of that nature, or you just get the panties that you could just go crazy. Don't wear nothing, you feel me? Like, it's like a lot of different things for women, and it's like, for as men, because we be down there eating that thing, you feel me? We be up on that knowledge too. So I would say that a call girl don't equate to nasty, and you could get a girl who don't have sex at all and not aware of her womb to give you some nasty shit. So it's really important for me. Like, I'm more of like a Pambagira lover type of energy. I'd never asked for this or never wanted this or nothing, but just was always a theme in my life. So I absolutely would date a call girl if she was honest about it. I would date any woman under any circumstances.
Listen, I got a lot of Lilith in my chart. I really like Lilith. Like, I like Glee. I really like to eat pussy. So I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say it like that. And I hope
what other way can it be said?
I hope pussy is not one of those words that's gonna get me banned.
Pussy is fine. Pussy is just fine. I've said a lot of. I've said pussy.
I really like to eat pussy. You know what I'm saying? So like, that is my thing. So Lilith is. It just comes off the tongue. So like, I just spell Lilith like it. I'm sorry. I really do. You know what? I'm sorry.
I mean, exactly. You know, alphabets, push, pull, all that stuff, man. The hook, the left, right. You gotta learn to twist that. Anyway, I'm just saying, I ain't mean to cast no dispersions, right?
Subject, sir. Change the subject, sir.
Okay.
All right. I didn't mean to cast any dispersions.
What's the last question?
We've been here for 2 hours, so we're going to end this out on a bang, man. In relation to, we have a experience that brought about this last question, and all of the guys been through this same experience where y'all pull out the dildo and we be afraid if you going to pull out the monster and we going to have to leave out the back door because we is not about to compete with your 18-inch dildo. No way, no how. And it got
programmable buttons on that joint.
Batteries and power outlets and things of that nature. I'm good on all of that.
Even though I can't compete, Genesis. I'm not gonna compete. Nope. That nigga got a battery. Like, come on.
He gonna just go. Like, he just gonna go.
Not even fair.
And what if it's good to me and
Like,
I yeah
you want me to be an android? Like, you
yeah
know what I'm saying? Like,
bionic.
I might get off because I ain't have to do nothing. And then you
Bicentennial
want
man.
me to do something? That's not even,
So when y'all pull out the
that's self,
miniature
that's
dildo,
selfish.
like pull out the
Yeah,
miniature dildo around your guy. Don't pull out a dildo that's bigger than
yeah.
his meat because he's automatically gonna feel inadequate. And men don't talk about our inadequacy. Like generally, like a dude can have a good sized meat, but since this is the only meat that he sees, he just feels like, damn, I'm inadequate because he can't
You don't know
contextualize
where you've
how
been,
big his meat is
right?
versus the next man or how many, like, what size meats are you used to, sis? Like,
Mm-hmm.
so in general, keep the small dildo by the bed if you need to use it, is all that I'm saying. Now, the question is, does the idea of a woman that pleases herself with dildos, hands, or pornos and things of that nature, does that make you feel inadequate in reference to
Hell
pleasing
no.
her?
I go first.
Hell
I go
no.
first.
Go ahead.
I
Go.
go first. I go first. I go first. Absolutely not. I'm sorry, absolutely not. Listen, I am a voyeur. I don't know what any of you know about this thing. I am a tantric specialist. I am a
Yep.
tantric specialist, but I am a fucking voyeur. Listen. Uh, I'm not gonna be too explicit, but I'll be explicit enough for you to understand that I like to watch the flower unfold. Like I had.
Yes, sir.
Listen.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Cause else, how you gonna know?
The
Anyway.
the
That's
idea
a
of
good first date question. What size meat
yeah,
are you used to, though, for real? Do you like
yeah.
large
Like,
meats,
you
medium
know
size,
what?
small meats? Like,
No,
cause what size do
you
you really get?
you
Seven,
wear a
eight? Like,
size
what
you
size?
wear a
We
size 10 and a half. Is
yeah,
that
bro. Like,
accurate,
what's
or do you like a lot of socks? Like, what's going on?
Exactly.
that's a good question, Phoenix. What size meat do you want? Like when you go to Burger King, they be like, "What size drink do you want? Small, medium, or large?" So when we go on our first dates, let's keep it honest. Small, medium, or large, sis. What's up? Because we could end this a whole lot sooner.
Yeah.
Like
The
Yeah.
beautiful
if you like
thing, the
medium
beautiful thing.
sizes, like we might work. But if you need an
Right.
extra large, then I'ma just
I got
cancel
you,
the date.
sis.
I'ma save my money. Save my money
The,
because I'm not going to take you there to where you
the
need to go.
beautiful
You
the
want the
beautiful
super
thing is that
large. I can't do
the
it for you.
beautiful thing is that the beautiful thing is that in tantra you get to manipulate your size.
That's too advanced for this video, Serpent. I know what you're talking
Sorry,
about.
I'm
I know what you're
sorry.
talking about,
My
but
bad.
all
My
right.
bad. My bad.
There's,
You
y'all
ain't, you
could
ain't lying.
read it in the Tao of Sexology by Dr.
My
Stephen
bad.
King. He has some techniques in there. But anyway.
My bad.
Oh,
Not that I have needed it. I'm
bro.
sorry. My bad. I'm not advertising. I'm sorry.
Okay.
My bad. I'm sorry. Jeff got me doing this. That's why you can't have somebody 30 something on the panel. That's not fair. You can't have a 30 something on the panel. You can't.
All right. Is that question answered?
It's done.
It's
You
done,
better.
man. This has been an episode of Chakra Nova, episode 11. I think we're gonna keep it up with this format. This one didn't. Last week we had trouble on top of troubles, but this one ended up being smooth. So I see y'all in the comments with y'all little 2 cents and things of that nature. Don't be scared. Y'all can hop up on this Zoom, man,
Yeah.
anytime
Yeah.
and
At
pop
any
shit with us
time.
because we do not bite unless you into that
We
type
don't
of
bite.
thing. But I
We don't
digress,
bite
man. I'm about
unless that's your
to.
thing. Unless that's your thing.
Unless that's your thing, man. So, this has been an episode, man. Definitely one for the books. And, like, share, subscribe. We will be here next Thursday. Up above are the fellas' Instagram accounts. And with all of that being said, I'll let these dudes give us a send-off as we end this episode.
Peace and love to the family. I love every single one of y'all. Thank y'all for coming out. I hope every single one of y'all understand that every rising is an infinite rising for yourself, and it just keeps going and doesn't stop unless you stop it. So, realize and understand that you are magic, and appreciate your magic. I appreciate every single one of y'all for participating, and thank y'all for the space. I'll share to every single one of y'all ancestors and the ones known and unknown. And thank you, and goodbye, and good night.
That was dope, man. Can't follow that. Peace. Thank you. I'm gonna say one thing that Serpent usually says. Thank you, Hood Mystic, for the platform. Deeply appreciate it. And again, just work on that honesty with self. Work on that honesty with self. You can't go wrong. You cannot go wrong. So, and yeah, authenticity, and by all means, go please yourself.
Please do. Please do. Just send me the photo. Like listen, I want the mountain photo. Like when you get to the mountain.
No. Be careful what you ask for.
My bad. No, yeah, you know what? That shit might look like Never mind. I apologize.
He said that.
Dudes be wanting professional shots from amateurs, and it don't be looking like porn when it come on your phone. That shit become looking like Krispy Kreme.
Yeah, bro, that joke is
in the middle of the night. Like, what you doing at Krispy Kreme at 4 o'clock?
They can't send you model photos from the middle of the projects. It don't work that way.
Listen,
they doing their best.
You ain't got to point that out every single time. Just because you privy to that information about me, Hood Mystic.
Professional.
Thank you, Kyrie Anthony. Thank you. Thank you.
Man, you gotta just hold tight, man. It's an inner game. Your inner reflects your outer.
That's right.
But you ain't got to tell everybody.
Ain't nobody saying
I ain't
nothing.
said nothing. You just I ain't said nothing.
Peace, family.
Peace to y'all, man. Y'all have a great day. Shout out to June 26th. Chakra Nova. In stores now. Links in the description. Shout out to y'all. Everybody. Peace. Have a great evening.
They already know now.